Today we are going to do a Pitta balancing practice. So we are focusing on our meditative Vinyasa, but what we will really hone in on is lowering the heat in the body. So kind of finding, if you find that you get agitated easily or get heated easily, those are signs that your Pitta is high. And I don't know about you guys, but my Pitta has been high, pretty high for the last couple of weeks. And so that is what really has motivated me to dedicate the class to a Pitta pacifying yoga class. So a couple things I wanted to mention about the practice today. And I think these are great tools to use every time we get on the mat, and I think we do these most of the time. So, wait, hold on. Bill, will you turn your sound down just a little bit? Um, just some important tidbits to kind of keep in mind when you are practicing today is have fun in your poses. Don't take your pose or the practice too seriously. Enjoy the movement in your poses. We're going to focus on gazing downward or even a little lower than the horizon. And that will, or you can even close your eyes in the pose as well as an option. So any of those would be great as far as just kind of cooling the body down. Allow a little freedom and creativity in your practice. It's always good too to avoid sticking to one routine. So it's good to mix it up and get out. It's kind of like, that's kind of the comfort zone of Pitta is, doing that same thing, da 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 da. So we're kind of mixing it up and changing it up a little bit. Let's see, focus on the yoga experience in your body, not in the brain. So we're trying to shut the brain off and really make it all about the physical practice and, of course, the breath work. We'll practice in a moderately cool space, nothing too hot. We want to work at about 80%, so we don't want to give it 100%. We actually want to do less because Pittas want that 100% or 110%, but we want to give 80% today. Avoid being judgmental or critical of yourself while you practice. And let's see, make sure you have plenty of practice space. Remind yourself that yoga is not a competition. And while we're practicing, we're really going to focus on our exhalation. So that inhalation is kind of the warming breath. We want to focus on exhaling and creating that coolness. What else do we need to mention here? When you exhale, imagine, and we'll talk about this more, letting go and releasing any built up of anger, frustration, or stress. Being aware of the back body breath, so really more metaphorically speaking, but you want to feel like some expansion coming to the back side of the body, back of the chest. We're going to do some twists and some side body openers, which is good for Pitta. And notice the position of your ribs. We're going to draw them back into the body. So if you find that your chest is kind of expansive, we're kind of drawing the navel in and letting the shoulders relax. We're practicing at a relaxed, moderate pace, nothing too hard. And in this case, when we're trying to lower our Pitta, less is more. So we'll kind of, we're again using that 80%. We want to really feel that cooling practice today. So that's a lot to remember, but those are just some little tools and tidbits we can remind ourselves as we go through the practice today. So we'll find that comfortable seat. Relax through the shoulders. And we're going to start to focus a little bit more on the inhalation and the exhalation. So let's say maybe we inhale up to 4. And when we exhale, we're going to count to 5. So we're going to extend it just a tiny bit. We're going to continue the breathing. As we focus on the inhalation and exhalation, that you want to feel that inhale. Imagine the breath is going to the upper back behind you, expanding not only the chest, but the back. And as we find that expansive breathing, still drawing the rib cage down and drawing the navel in, so you feel nice and neutral in your spine, that neutral, natural curve that we have. And of course, as we go through some of these cues, not even taking those cues too seriously, just doing your best, and of course, working that 80%. So we're just really calming the brain, almost kind of putting aside that intensity that can sometimes happen, and really just feeling it in the body. We're going to take a deep inhale. Now, as you exhale, I want you to rotate to the left. So we're going to do a little rotation. Once you're there, you can use your arms a little bit, but mainly just using your torso to do the rotation, keeping both sit bones nice and grounded. Good. We're going to slowly come back to center, taking a deep inhale. Exhaling to the right. Drawing navel to spine. Everything we're doing is very sattvic, gentle, slow movements. Good. Coming back to center. Let's place the right hand down by our hips. Reach the left arm up and over. And once we're in that side bend position, we're going to make sure our right sit bone, or our left sit bone rather, is nice and grounded. And then I'm going to bend into my right arm and open up that left side body. Let the shoulders release. And we're going to take 3 deep breaths, really expanding the sides of the waist, sides of the chest there. Good. Coming back to center, we're going to do the same. Left hand will come to the floor, reaching the right arm up and over. Soften into that left elbow. Draw the shoulders down and back, hollow the belly. Focusing on the exhale. And as you exhale, releasing any tension that you might be feeling in the body, whether it's physical or mental tension. And then we'll come back to center. From there, we're going to place our hands in front of us, press into the palms, draw the chin towards the chest, hollow the belly, spread the scapula nice and wide, hollowing the belly. Really giving ourselves a chance to breathe in the back body. Staying connected to the abdomen. Perfect. We're going to come back to center, walk the hands behind, lift the chest and the chin, draw the navel in and the shoulders down and back. Full deep inhale and exhale. Really allowing that exhale to release out any tension or frustration that you're feeling from the day or the week. Perfect. We're going to come back to center. Go ahead and bring the knees together on the mat, and we're going to move into child's pose. So this a little bit wide with the legs, big toes to touch. I'm going to start to come down, forehead to the floor, relaxing the arms and the shoulders, allowing the hips to sink towards the heels, finding that level of comfort, releasing any tension around the eyes or the jaw. Full deep inhale and exhale. Allow your body to sink into the floor on those exhalations. Still continue those deep, long inhalations and exhalations. If you'd like to set an intention or dedicate your practice today, please feel free to do so. As you exhale, imagine cooling air exiting. You're kind of creating that little cooler, cooling things off, cooling Pitta down. We'll hold for a few more breaths here. Notice if the body's having a hard time adjusting to the slow pattern or if it feels really inviting and relaxing. Now on your next inhale, we're going to slowly bring the hands underneath the shoulders, push ourselves up onto all fours, walk the knees under the hips, and we're just going to shift the hips back, lengthening through the arms. You may have to tuck your hips a little bit just to activate your glutes and your hamstrings a little bit. And then we're going to tip a little forward, not too much that it irritates the wrists. So we're going to tip back, navel to spine, head is neutral, and then just a little bit forward with a little external rotation of the shoulders. And we'll shift back and forward. Let's do that one more time. So we'll draw navel to spine, back and forward, kind of coordinating that with your breath. From there, we're going to stabilize and come into that quadruped position, shoulders over the wrist, knees under the hips. We're going to hollow the belly, round the back upward towards the sky into cat pose. Spread between the shoulder blades, hollow the belly, rounding the upper, middle, and lower back. Head is nice and relaxed. We're going to inhale, open the chest, lift the chin, hollow the belly, a little internal rotation of the shoulders so your elbow creases will face towards each other. Let's exhale and round the back, coming into cat one more time, hollowing the belly. And inhaling, opening the chest, lifting the chin slightly, and coming back to neutral. Great. We're going to exhale and bring our right shoulder and right hip closer together, moving into more of a side bend. Once we're there, I want you to let the head release and breathe deeply into the left side of your waist. And you'll feel that fascia, gentle stretching around the hip or the waistline, really wherever there's a little bit of tightness. Nice full exhalations. Now we're going to prepare to come back to neutral. Take a deep inhale. Let's exhale and side bend to the left. So we're bringing our left shoulder, left hip a little closer together. Head is neutral. Breathing into that right side body. Good. Really just enjoying the moment of what is feeling tight, what isn't, and working very sensitively into the body. Perfect. We're going to come back to neutral, and then from there, we're going to step our right foot forward. And if you need blocks to elevate the hands, that's great. You can do fingertips or palms. I'm going to go fingertips so I can just elevate myself just enough. We're going to kind of tip forward and back and start to kind of work the hips a little bit. And we're going to move with our exhale and inhale. So we'll start to inhale forward, exhale, shifting the hips back, tipping the head down. So we'll inhale a little chest opening, lifting the chin, and then exhale, shifting the hips back. As we keep moving through these, we're going to press into that left foot so you feel a little stability in that back leg, helping with balance. Good. Now on this next one, we're going to bring our hips forward and pause there. So we'll press into the left foot, hollow the belly, a slight chest opener. If that's too deep, bring the hands to the inside of your right foot, or even better, lift yourself up on a block and elevate yourself just a little bit. You can get a little more chest opening that way. And we're going to hold for 3 breaths. Good. Still drawing navel to spine. Good. Deep breath 2. And 1. Perfect. We're going to come back to our center position, back onto all fours. And let's go ahead and bring our left foot forward. So before we start to anchor ourselves into the pose, we're going to tip forward, Inhale, exhale, shifting the hips back. We're trying to keep the hips as squared as we can, but again, we're only working at about 80%, if that. This is a nice meditative practice, so it could be even less than that. And we got our core connected, just kind of oiling up our joints, our hip joints. All right, and we'll do a few more. We're going to inhale forward, exhale, shifting the hips back. Deep inhale forward, exhale, shifting the hips back. One more, inhaling forward, exhale, shifting the hips back. And then from there, we're going to come into more of a holding lunge. So we'll start to shift the hips forward, press that right foot into the mat, maybe elevate yourself on a block or bringing the hands to the inside of that left leg. Full deep inhale and exhale, especially if it feels tight. Drawing that deep exhaling breath. Gently shifting that left hip down. Good deep breath for 2. All right, now on your next breath, we're going to actually step that left foot back and move ourselves back into child's pose. So we'll shift the hips back. This time my legs are a little closer together, and I'm going to reach my arms forward and lengthen through the chest and the shoulder for a little stretch. Working to get the forehead to the mat. If it doesn't, place your head on a block so you can stimulate the brain, releasing a little more oxytocin. So bringing the very top of the forehead or the third eye to the mat can be very healing in itself. Full deep inhale and exhale. Good, nice, easy breathing. Excellent. We're going to actually shift our hips slightly to the left and walk our arms to the right. And as we do that, we're going to find a comfortable position, but also one that feels like a nice, healthy stretch along the left side of the hip and chest or side body. Maybe even the left shoulder. Let's breathe for about 5 breaths here. Excellent. Let's come back to center. This time we're going to shift our hips a little bit to the right and walk our arms to the left side of the mat. Full deep inhale and exhale. Working to lengthen or just release some of that tension that you might be feeling along that right side of the body. Deep inhale. Let's hold for a couple more breaths. Excellent. So from here, I'm going to come back to a center position, place my hands under the shoulders, push myself up so I'm back in a quadruped position. And I'm going to line my left hand, left knee, slide my left foot a little bit to the left off of the mat potentially, and straighten my right foot. And that right foot is lined up nicely with my left knee and hand. I'm going to reach my right arm up towards the sky and come into a modified side plank position. Now on your exhale, I want you to reach that right arm up and over and start to expand the chest towards the sky. Now as you do that, you might have to very subtly tuck your hips just enough to stay neutral in that position. So we can really also get a little deeper into the front of the hip if we do that. We're pressing into the floor with that right leg, right foot. And I want you to take 3 deep, expansive breaths to that right side, and we'll hold for 2. Good. 1 more breath. And then come on back. Excellent. So we're back on all fours. We're going to switch sides now and line up the right hand, right knee, slide the foot out, and then straighten that left foot. We'll line up those 3 points, reaching the left arm towards the sky. As you exhale, we're going to shift that hand overhead, maybe a little rotation towards the sky, keeping that chest nice and expansive. Deep breath. Good. We'll hold for 3. Good. Deep breath 2. And 1. Perfect. All right, we're going to slowly make our way down to a seat, coming onto the floor. So we are going to extend the legs forward. Let's start with our right foot going inside the left hip for Janushirshasana. So we've got maybe an 85 to 90 degree angle. We're going to reach our arms up, deep inhale, lengthen, and then as you exhale, we're going to really slowly exhale, deeply exhale as we lower down with a lot of core control. And then we'll place the hands to the floor or the foot. And if you're not feeling super connected to your abdomen, your core muscles, then you're going to keep your back more neutral. If you feel that connection and you feel really confident in that connection, you can allow yourself to round into the pose a little bit more. Connect with the leg muscles. And imagine you are back breathing. You're really expanding the back, especially the upper back, as you breathe. Good. 1 more breath here. Now, on your next inhale, before you come up, we're going to find neutral in the spine. Use the core to come back up so you're not straining your back as you rise back from that fold. We'll shake the legs out. We're going to bend into the left leg this time. Lengthen through the spine. Reach the arms up, deep inhale, and then we're slow to exhale as we bring the hands towards the floor. And we're finding that position that works really well for our bodies today. And drawing navel to spine, hollowing the belly. Finding that peaceful position to hold. Expand through the breath. Good. Now engage, find neutral through the spine, and then we're slowly making our way back up to a seat. And we're going to move into our Baddha Konasana position. So we've got our feet together. Any knee pressure, a block can go under the knee for a little support. We're going to open up our feet like we're opening up a book If they don't open, please don't worry about it. We're going to lengthen through the spine, and we're slow to exhale as we fold forward. And you can really feel all the muscle connection that it takes to do something like that, especially if we're moving a little bit slowly. Good. We'll draw the shoulders back away from the ears. Find that neutral position for the head and neck. Good. Expanding on that exhale. Now on your inhale, we're going to rise back up, and let's cross the legs. So you're welcome to go into fire log and do something a little more intense. I'm just going to cross the legs. Just remember which leg is on top. And we're going to take a deep inhale. First, we're going to fold forward, and it will be a slow exhale forward as well. So we'll fold forward, kind of bringing the breath back to that back body. Good. Drawing the head slightly down. Really nice breathing. Full deep inhale and exhale. Excellent. Let's slowly come back up to an upright position. And then from there, I want you to lengthen. Actually, let's bring our hands to heart. We're going to create a line from elbow to elbow with our forearms. Go ahead and rotate to the left. And then we're going to slowly bring that right elbow to the right thigh. I'm sorry, the left thigh. Right elbow to left thigh. Now, as you do that, if it feels too tight, if you feel it in your back, you're easing off and you're upright with a twist with both sit bones on the ground. Staying really strong in your core. Don't let any pressure or pain kick in. That is a sign that it's too deep. So you want to ease out of the position. Now, once you get into a comfortable position, please change how it fits your body. I want you to find that expansive breath, and it should expand the sides of the waist. Excellent. Let's come back to center. And of course, twists are so different on each side, so we'll see where it goes. It may look completely different than what we just did. We'll take a deep inhale. Now we're rotating to the right, and we're bringing our left elbow down to our right thigh. Make sure that left sit bone is nice and grounded. Full deep inhale and exhale. Perfect. A lot of core connection. We're going to come back up. And now we're going to prepare for a variation of cobra pose. I'm going to grab a little blanket. You don't have to use one, but if you have a blanket or a small bolster, you can use that. And I have it folded up into a square. You can just bring your hips to the floor. You don't need to have this, especially since I didn't mention it before class. But you're going to lower your hips either onto the floor or onto the blanket. Okay. And you're going to be belly face down. Toenails of the toes will be pressing into the floor. And then we're going to start on our forearms. So we'll go ahead and bring the elbows under the shoulders, pressing the palms into the floor. And the blanket or bolster really is just keeping our pelvis as neutral as it can be in this position so that we're not sinking into our low back. So once we get into position, I want you to press into the feet, into the legs, pull the belly away from the floor or the blanket, hollow the belly, gently press the hips down without going into your low back. See if it feels good. If it doesn't, release. We're all a little different there. And then I want you to press into your palms like you're trying to get your chest to slide forward between your arms. Scapula is drawing down. We're going to hold this for 5. If it feels good to close the eyes, please do so. Excellent. Now from here, I'm going to rest my torso, place my hands under the forehead, and rest my head onto my hands. As we do that, I want you to relax your legs and release your pelvis just a little bit. Okay, we're going to prepare for either the position that we just finished, or we're going to go bring our hands into the mix. So we're going to do a variation of cobra. So either way, we're going to start with the elbows under the shoulders. We're pressing our feet into the floor, hollowing the belly, pulling the belly away from the mat, pressing the pelvis into the floor, and then either drawing the chest forward, scapula down, or you're going to press into your palms and start to lift the elbows up. They don't have to straighten all the way. Make sure you're not in your shoulders, but those shoulders are drawing down. Scapula is drawing down, and we'll hold for 5. Stay nice and connected to the core. Find that deep exhalating breath. Perfect. From there, we're going to lower the elbows back to the mat and start to bring the forehead back to the hands. Let the pelvis go, releasing any tension there in the hips. So you may find that your legs kind of go into a little internal rotation, and if that does happen, it kind of helps open up the back a little bit. So that is super good. And we'll hold a few breaths here. Now on your next breath, I'm going to bring my hands under the shoulders, push into my knees, and press back into a child's pose position. Just going to stretch the back a little bit before we move on. Excellent. From here, we're going to go ahead and push ourselves back up to a seat and sweep our legs out in front. And we've got just a little bit left here. We're going to start with Navasana pose. So we're going to lean back. We've got a pretty neutral spine. We're drawing our navel in, reaching the arms forward. I'm going to keep my feet on the floor for this first position. So I've got the shoulders down and back. I'm tipping back just enough to feel my core activate, and we'll hold for 5. Now while we're here, it's a deep inhale, but a fluid, a slightly longer exhale. Full deep inhale and exhale. Full deep inhale and exhale. One more deep inhale and exhale. Great. Go ahead and tip forward for just a moment. We're going to do that one more time with the option to bring the feet off of the mat, which you can totally do, or leave the feet on the mat. Okay, so we're going to come back into that deep inhale, full exhale. Deep inhale and exhale. Full deep inhale and exhale. 2 more. Deep inhale and exhale. Last one. Deep inhale and exhale. All right, make sure you have enough space behind you. From here, we're going to slowly lower all the way down to the floor and do one more heart opening pose for Pitta dosha. So we've got our palms pressing down. We're moving into bridge pose. We'll walk our feet to the back of the hips, hollow the belly, imprint the low back into the mat, and we'll start to roll up one vertebra at a time. Head is nice and neutral. Connecting to your Mula Bandha, pelvic floor, your Uddiyana Bandha, your abdomen drawing in, and your Jalandhara Bandha, the throat lock. We'll hold here. Excellent. Now on your next breath, let's begin to roll down one vertebra at a time, bringing the low back down to the mat last. We're going to walk our feet out just a little bit and a little bit wider. Let's tip the legs to the right and kind of windshield wiper the legs right to left, left to right. We'll do that one more time. Excellent. Okay, we're going to pull the knees to the chest, give the body a little squeeze, draw the chin towards the chest as well. And then from there, I'm going to take my hands underneath my shins, grabbing my thighs, and I'm going to push off with a little momentum and come back up to a seat. Okay, so from here, we're going to come into a comfortable seated position, so whatever that looks like for you. And we're going to finish the practice with alternate nostril breathing, which is one of the best cooling breaths to really help lower Pitta dosha. So we'll do this with our right hand, and there's two ways we can do it. You're going to keep your thumb and your two pinky and ring fingers together, and you'll bend the two pointer and middle finger down. If that's really hard to do, you can bend all three in the middle down. So find the one that works the best, and we'll take a full deep inhale and exhale. When we start to inhale, we'll close the right nostril, and you'll go pretty high up on the top of the nose. So you're not going down to where the holes of the nose are. You want to go up a little bit higher. And then you'll inhale. You'll fully inhale. We won't retain any breath, but you will then plug the left nostril and exhale through the right. Once you fully exhale, you'll go ahead and inhale through that right side, plug the right side, and exhale through the left. And the great thing about this is we really want to go with your breathing pattern. You're going to have nice deep inhales and exhalations, but I don't want you to get agitated or stuck on how fast I'm doing it. So it's all about your rhythm. Full deep inhale and exhale. And we'll begin closing the right nostril. Inhale. And exhale. I won't cue just so you can stay on your own breathing. We'll do 2 more full rounds. When you're ready, you're going to place the hands on your thighs. You can close your eyes. We'll start to come into just a nice normal breath. Notice how you're feeling. Good. When you're ready, we're going to slowly take it down to the floor, moving into Shavasana. So whatever you normally use to find a comfortable position, so maybe a bolster under the legs, maybe a blanket or pillow under the neck or head. Taking a little body scan from head to toe, releasing any tension that may still be lingering in the body.